On the 13th of October 2025 at 12:40 p.m, my 15-year-old childhood dog died. This is his story.
That yesterday I got a dog, but I'm just so happy and so excited because for so many years I've wanted a dog, and I'll probably make a video about him. This is my little boy and he's called Benji.
Benji was born on the 16th of August 2010. He was adopted by an elderly couple that lived on a farm. He was used to cats and other animals, he loved car rides, and he never had accidents inside. One day, his original owners had to make the difficult decision to rehome their beloved dog.
He's been missing the family that we got him from. They were a lovely couple that are moving away to Australia to be with their family.
So they made a listing in the dogs for adoption category on Trade Me. In the listing, they said he was 5, well-trained, and a Lhasa Apso cross with Maltese.
One thing I forgot to mention is they had said in the thing that they would prefer an older couple to adopt them. My nan is kind of old. Well, I'm 15, so I'm not like a little kid.
I had a really hard time in my teen years. My mental health was terrible and I didn't leave the house much. One day, after a therapy appointment where I was encouraged to get out more, I made a comment to my nana that changed our lives.
I said to my nana, if she wants me to leave the house more, she should let me get a dog. Her reply was simply, it would have to be a small dog.
I was amazed she finally said yes.
Now, bear in mind, 11 years of nagging and begging, and this time all it took was one simple comment that was meant to be a joke, and she finally agreed.
So my search began. I checked the SPCA website, Trade Me, and 4 local pet shops. I also started saving my pocket money and buying all the things we would need for a dog. It took me months to find the right dog for us. On the 18th of February 2016, I found a listing on Trade Me for a little white dog. He wasn't a puppy, but I thought his pictures were adorable and he was only $200. I don't have a copy of the inquiry itself because it was sent through Trade Me, but in it I told them I was going through a hard time and my nana had agreed to getting a dog for emotional support.
So I checked my emails an hour later and I'd gotten a reply. We arranged a time, so at 10 o'clock on a Saturday, they brought the little munchkin over.
The couple weren't in a rush to rehome Benji. He was their baby and they wanted to make sure they were picking the best possible family for him. I was nervous about them coming over because I knew we had a couple of holes in the fence and I didn't want them to reject us for it.
So they brought him into the yard and they wanted to have a wet look around to see that it would be a suitable home for a dog. Everything seemed fine and I thought, yep, they'll probably go see some other people now. And they were like, we think he'll fit in here. And they said, okay, is it okay if we leave him here now? And I was like, that's how I got Benji.
The lady actually talked to my nana about how she was moved by my email. She used to work with vulnerable children and she knew the benefits of animals. They actually chose us out of over 100 replies. Since we hadn't been expecting them to make a decision right away, we didn't actually have the cash on hand. So there was a really awkward 10 minutes where I was in our home alone with a couple of strangers while my nana zipped out to the bank. It sounds dodgy, I know, but I promise nothing bad happened. I had been saving up for ages to get a dog, like saving up myself, and my nana actually paid for him and said, "Here is your birthday present." Once she got back, the couple said a teary goodbye. I promised to send updates, and that's actually how I still have a copy of some of the first pictures I ever took of Benji. The day after Benji died, I tried sending an email to that same account, but unfortunately it no longer existed. The couple gave us all of Benji's things, and he was honestly spoiled. He had a swan dry coat that he continued to wear for the rest of his life. He also had his own little sheepskin mat for his bed and a cooling pad for the car. We honestly didn't need to buy him anything because he came with so much. But I still had a lot of fun buying him toys.
This is Benji's bed, and this fish I bought ages ago and he loves it. And here we have more Benji things, cooling pad, toys.
I don't know why I was pointing at everything with my feet. You could not peacefully post that nowadays. I was stoked to finally have a dog of my own. I was so enthralled with him that I posted a video saying there wasn't going to be a normal video that week because I was busy with him.
I've just been playing with him, taking him for walks.
He fit in with our family right away.
We've had this little bundle of fluff for 4 months, even though it feels like we've had him forever.
We noticed a few quirks about our new boy. I always said he had dainty paws because he didn't like to walk over stones.
If it's been raining and he thinks it's too wet, he won't go for a walk.
One of the routes we used to walk him on had metal grates connecting the path to the road, and he hated the sound of them.
So he'll walk around them. and he also refuses to walk through puddles.
Something he did that we were actually concerned about at first was his paw licking habit.
He also sucks on his paws, so see that? The fur has gone brown from where the saliva is.
We even asked a vet about it and she said it's just something small dogs do. Benji regularly appeared on my YouTube channel, and one of my favourite things to do with him was to go on adventures. So I started a series called Adventures with Benji. There were only 3 episodes, and in hindsight, I really wish I had made more. The first episode was posted on the 31st of August 2016. I walked him along a stream and recorded a time-lapse of the clouds. On the 7th of September, I posted episode 2. My nana and I went out to Aramoana with my auntie, uncle, cousins, and my uncle's mum. We went for a walk on the beach and I took my knockoff GoPro to test it out. In the video, you can see my auntie's 3 dogs, Loki, Griff, and Rigby. Benji got along great with them. We called them his cousins. Unfortunately, they were all around the same age. Loki and Rigby have since passed, Rigby just 3 weeks before Benji. You can tell my family are dog lovers. The last episode was posted on the 18th of September 2016. It was less of an adventure and more just me running around in a field playing with him. I used these videos as an opportunity to learn more about and experiment with editing. I taught myself how to make and use video overlays, and I played around with remixing music. Looking back on them, they're low-key terrible, but I learned a lot and it motivated me to leave the house. When we first adopted Benji, we also had 2 cats. One of them was Ruby. Ruby was a fluffy ball of love. We adopted her from the SPCA when she was about 1.
We've got my cat. This is Ruby. I don't think I ever introduced you to Ruby. Do you want to be a YouTube cat?
Her and Benji were the best of friends straight away. I don't know if she had experience with dogs before, but she wasn't scared in the slightest.
And you also love your sister, but you won't be nice to your brother.
They would play together and Benji loved kissing her.
Will your sister not play with you? He does this. He comes right up close to you.
Unfortunately, when Ruby was only 2 to 2.5, she was hit by a car. I was absolutely devastated. I actually thought I had no pictures or videos of her because my iCloud doesn't go back further than 2018. But I thankfully found that old YouTube video she was in, so that was nice. On the 15th of April 2024, I lost my dear cat Tommy. He was only 10.5, but he had tongue cancer. Tommy's death was very sudden and very traumatic, so I won't go into detail about it. We adopted Tommy as a stray from a vet clinic that had found his mum. He had never lived with dogs before, so it was quite the adjustment for him. Benji was also very bossy and he liked to be the head of the house. After a couple of years, the pair became close friends. They would spend hours sleeping side by side on our beds or at the foot of my chair. Sometimes when Nana took Benji out to the bathroom in the morning, Tommy would leap out from behind a bush and smack him on the tail. I think they found a lot of companionship in each other, especially as they got older and after I had moved out. Some of my best memories are being in the garden with Nana while Benji and Tommy sit in a shady spot and watch us. When we lost Tommy, I printed some pictures of him for my Nana. One of them was of him and Benji fast asleep on my bed together. It's now in a nice frame she thrifted and it sits in her bedroom. The only other person who could have loved those boys as much as me was her.
You get a picture of you with the boys. Jeez.
All of my favourite pictures of my Nana are ones where she's holding our animals. In most of them, she's holding Benji. I wanted to include some in this video, but my Nana is a very private person. She doesn't like using a cell phone, let alone social media, so I censored her face. My Nana was probably Benji's favourite person, though she would argue it was me. But he was her sidekick his entire life with us. My Nana has never had a license, never owned a car, so she walks everywhere to do her errands. So every day, whether it was to the supermarket, the bank, or the library, Benji went with her. Benji was good at dividing his time between us. For the first few years, he would switch between sleeping with me or with her at night. But one day he realised if he slept with Nana, he got an entire side of the bed to himself. So he stopped sleeping with me at night altogether. He would, however, happily nap on me during the day. If Nana was ever taking too long to go to bed, he would put himself to bed, either making a nest in her pillows, or if it was cold, Nana would tuck him under the blanket and he would look like a little person in there. There's something so endearing about elderly people with their little dogs. There were people that recognised Nana and Benji on their walks. He was even allowed in the bank because he was so well behaved. A couple of days after he passed, my Nana went into the bank and the teller asked if her little dog didn't feel like coming out that day, not realising he had passed. She got lots of smiles from strangers and kids would come up asking to pet him, which Benji loved. When I moved out, I knew I couldn't take him with me. I trusted him to watch over Nana, to be her little guardian, and he did an amazing job at that.
Yeah. Tick, 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 tick. There you are. There you go.
2017 was the worst year of my life. I don't think there's anything that could top that year. But that Christmas, my Nana and I were invited to go on holiday with my auntie, uncle and cousins to Hamner Springs. It was my first holiday and I was doing YouTube at that time, so I vlogged my time away.
Today we are going to the animal farm in the morning.
That goat over there with the bandana reminds me of Benji when he's been groomed. She stole the bag!
I remember being so nervous to record because I was really embarrassed of my channel at the time. I hadn't seen those videos since posting them. Watching them back for this, I felt overwhelmed with appreciation for my family. Since my auntie had 3 dogs at the time, we were staying somewhere pet friendly, and that meant Benji was coming on holiday. One of my favourite memories from that trip that I'm so glad I got on camera was when we went to a river. The day before, we had gone to a different river and it was so hot that I went swimming despite not having swimwear or a towel. Don't worry, my auntie was fine with me being wet in her car. She had the dogs, they were wet anyway. So this time everyone was prepared and we pretty much all had a swim, even Nana. Benji never liked swimming or getting wet, he wouldn't do it unprompted. My Nana had decided to pull up her pants, grab a stick for balance and have a wee wade in the water. She tried to take Benji in with her, but he pulled away at the edge. Even though he didn't want to go in, he kept a close eye on her.
Come on! Oh, he doesn't want to go in the water.
In the end, he didn't want her to be out there alone, so he bravely went in after her.
Oh, good boy. Good boy.
I think he even started to enjoy it in the end because he stayed out there for a little while. Benji's fur grew quickly. Ideally, he needed to be groomed every 6 to 8 weeks. He definitely wasn't groomed that often because of the ridiculously high cost of it. Like many, Benji was caught off guard by the lockdowns. He was already shaggy going into it and it got to a point where he couldn't really see. So I tried my hand at giving him a trim. We had a set of clippers from the warehouse designed for human hair, but I figured if I was careful, I could make it work. Well, I had minimal experience or success using these on people, let alone dogs. I didn't put a big enough guard on it and practically shaved the poor guy bald. Somehow it gets worse. He hated being touched around the ears or face. The groomers never had any problems with him, but I sure did. So he ended up looking like a bobblehead. Yeah, I did a terrible job, but at least he wasn't too hot anymore. As previously mentioned, my family are dog lovers, and no time was that more clear than Christmas Day. My auntie would host every year, so there would be her 3 dogs, Benji, my cousin's dogs. There would honestly be almost as many dogs as there were people. Benji loved it. He would run around playing with them until he was exhausted. Unfortunately, the Christmas magic of youth can't last forever. This year is our first Christmas without Benji. A lot of us have lost dogs in the past year. Some people have moved away. Hell, I didn't even see my family last year. I'm lucky to be marrying into an amazing family. I genuinely love my in-laws, and I know that's not the case for everyone. But I will say, their Christmases are a lot more human. Nowhere near as many dogs as I'm used to. Since Nana walked Benji so much, he was remarkably healthy even in his old age. The only trouble we ever had with him was with his teeth. Not long after we adopted him, we took him to the vet for a checkup and vaccinations. We were told at the appointment that he desperately needed a dental clean and probably some extractions. His previous owners used to give him smackos every day. He was actually overweight because sometimes they would give him multiple a day. We cut that habit but couldn't for the life of us get him to eat dental chews. So we saved up and got his teeth cleaned. We were warned he would probably need it done later in life, and boy did he. In September of 2021, he needed another clean and more extractions. One of Benji's most notable features were his bottom teeth that stuck out. Unfortunately, he needed to have most of them extracted. I'm assuming since they were constantly exposed to the air, they probably degraded quicker. So that day he came home, still out of it from the anesthesia, with his less toothy but still adorable smile. Now only 2 teeth stuck out. Benji was a very yappy dog. He loved to make his opinion known. When he was out of it, he was silent.
Is his head supported there?
We were all weirded out by how quiet the house was. Nana's house is really quiet now. Benji had pet insurance, and that came in handy one day in 2022 when I found a lump on his leg. We took him in for an appointment and they biopsied it. He had a yearly blood panel covered by insurance, so we did that at the same time. His bloods came back great, and the vets were even surprised how slow and steady his heart rate was for his age. We credit his great health to his daily exercise with Nana. The first biopsy came back inconclusive, so they ran it again at no extra charge. That one also came back inconclusive. We were told it was likely benign, and as long as it didn't cause him any problems, there was nothing to worry about. Another couple popped up as he got older, but none of them ever bothered him. Towards the end of his life, his eyes got pretty cloudy. Nana thought he probably had a bit of trouble seeing and hearing, but it didn't seem to affect his life that much. He also became very clingy after I moved out. He would get upset if he couldn't see Nana. It actually got to the point where Nana had to shower with the bathroom door open and call out to him when he would cry. I've been agoraphobic since Christmas 2024. Throughout 2025, I got to see my Nana and Benji occasionally when she would dog sit for my auntie. Nana would walk around with all the dogs and have a wee visit. I'm so grateful for these visits because I hit some serious lows throughout the year. During one of our visits, my Nana told me that my auntie was planning on moving. Thus, she wouldn't need my Nana to dog sit anymore. We both agreed I needed to push myself and my anxiety to come visit her at home. On the 1st of October, I managed a visit. For some reason, I felt compelled to take pictures with both Benji and Nana. I also got a really sweet video of Benji kissing my leg. I didn't realize at the time just how precious those videos and photos would become to me. Unfortunately, I wasn't with Benji when he passed. I didn't even know anything was wrong until my Nana showed up the next day at my door with only my auntie's dog. These are Benji's last few days, as told to me by my Nana. On Sunday the 12th, Benji's behaviour was off. He wouldn't eat, wouldn't drink, and didn't go to the bathroom all day. Because of his age, we knew something could happen at any point. So my Nana spent that Sunday cuddling him and knew deep down this was probably the end. Monday morning, she called the vets and made an appointment. So she carried him, wrapped in a blanket in her arms. She didn't give me the specifics of the appointment, but she later told me it was most likely complete kidney failure. It was determined he was in pain, suffering, and ready to go. So she said goodbye and held his paw as he passed. We had a beautiful almost 10 years with Benji, though I don't think any amount of time would have felt like enough. I think it's a beautiful representation of life cycles that he was my first dog and my Nana's last. He had such a huge impact on the both of us. He even saved my life once. I'll forever be grateful to my Nana for agreeing to let us get a dog, and to his original owners for choosing us to be his forever family.
Benji, would you like to tell them to give this video a thumbs up? To show their support? Do you think they should subscribe?